And topic for discussion is today patents versus trade secrets, which is right for your technology.
Yes.
So, Shalini, let's
So,
begin by what are you doing and some opening remarks.
what am I doing? I've had a very exciting and crazy day. So, it's all over the place. And, I really look forward to these Tuesday evening chats where I know I'm still discussing patents and it still seems like work, but I actually look forward to it because it's where I can unwind with patents.
Yeah, where we can discuss whatever we want to instead of just getting inside the documents and drafting.
Yes. So, I'm really excited about this topic because I think it's one of the it's not explored enough. Even in law school, it wasn't explored enough. I think trade secret always gets the stepsisterly treatment and
Yeah.
the Cinderella. But I think it's very undervalued. I think we have a lot to debate on whether we should go in for trade secrets or patents. But I think it's there, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
so. What has your experience been with trade secrets?
See, in India, we all have to, accept that as we do not have any trade secret law as such, we generally take it to account the contracts and the IT law and club them together and evidence and club them together to form trade secrets together. But the experience frankly has been not much. People are not aware that what exactly are trade secrets. Either they consider as every information what they have produced and not told to somebody is a trade secret, but unfortunately that is not the case. And yeah, that has been my experience. Like awareness level is a little too low in this area. What about you?
Yeah, yeah. Awareness has been next to nil.
Hmm,
I
hmm,
think
hmm,
because we don't have a draft legislation, we don't have any kind of recourse,
hmm, hmm.
and the what the law says. I mean, what generally is it's covered by contracts, right? And we
Right.
know then the contract is only as strong as the person who drafts it. So it needs to be watertight if you're talking of protecting something for perpetuity or near perpetuity. The other thing is who has access to it, like we discussed last time also, who has access to it is a very dicey thing to prove. So on multiple levels, I think trade secret is not treated fairly and not understood enough. But there are some very exciting trade secrets that are there in public domain, right?
Yeah, definitely. They are.
I think the most popular one is Coca-Cola, but my personal favorite is the New York Times bestseller list. Did you know that how a book ends up there is also a trade secret?
Wow, I didn't know about it. My favorite is Google search algorithm.
But that is expected, right? They would keep it as a secret.
But yeah, but I love that, so that technology in itself so much, and I'm like, no competition in that area. Like we have so many different search engines, but no competition.
No competition. But imagine the foresight they must have had, Google must have had at that time to
Yeah,
say that no, we are not going to patent this, we are going to trade secret it. I mean,
correct.
you need to have a different level of uh, of predicting what things are going to be like.
Correct. Let's say hi to Arun. Arun, hi. Thanks for joining. Any questions regarding trade secret and patents, you can post in the chat box.
So, shall we talk about which one is appropriate for whom?
Yeah, definitely we should. So, should I begin with
Yeah,
some
please,
examples?
please
Like,
do. Okay, let's start with what does it protect?
So Shalini, I would say let's start with examples which we get from clients in our day-to-day lives. Like my mother or my grandmother has made some achar, mirchi, masala, and can we patent it or not? Or what should we do? I think that's
Yeah,
a general
actually,
query.
that is a general query.
It's
Everyone thinks they
laughable,
are
but
the
it's
first
a
people
general.
on earth to have that achar recipe or that masala recipe.
Yeah. So
But
next, yeah.
so examples, of course, I mean, on a day-to-day basis, I think there are a lot. This method of making, especially Goa, right? We have there's a particular dish called chicken shakuti. It's a Portuguese recipe. It's come down from when the Portuguese ruled Goa, and it's an interesting dish. If you eat chicken, I think next time you're here, I should have you tried. But everyone thinks that they have the recipe for chicken shakuti. So everyone comes to me and says, I want to patent this recipe for chicken shakuti. And you cannot mess with the flavors of, you cannot mess with the spices, the proportion of spices and shakuti, because then otherwise you won't identify with that dish as it is supposed to be. So I think in the last year itself, I have said no to 3 chicken shakuti patents.
That's great. So yeah, I
So
so
what does it protect?
trade secrets or the patents.
And patents, both. So if we are making a distinction between them, let's talk about starting with what does it protect?
So trade secret. So first things first. People think any information which I'm not telling to anybody can be a trade secret, but here we have to penetrate and say that in our laws it is written that have we taken any steps to keep that information as confidential. If we haven't taken any steps, if we haven't taken any safeguards, then we cannot say that that is a trade secret or that is an undisclosed information or that is an information which nobody knows. We have to establish that there were steps taken and those steps were violated when a trade secret infringement happens. So those steps were
Absolutely.
violated. For example, it can be as small example as that Shalini and I are working together and I have a written contract with Shalini that this information you are not going to share with anybody else, but then Shalini goes and shares it with somebody. So that is a kind of violation because she had a contract with me and it got violated. I had taken steps to keep that information as confidential in the sense that I had that agreement with Shalini. So it's very
Right.
important to disclose or to show that there was some violation or there were some safeguards what were taken to keep that information of confidential, and those safeguards have been now broken. So I think that is the important one when it comes to
Yes.
trade secret. And for patent, as we have discussed, the patentability
Yes.
criteria: novelty,
Yeah.
inventive step, utility, subject matter eligibility. Yes, patent, no, don't patent. As simple as that.
Revision. You're done with patent revision.
So now Shalini will elaborate. I have given her a lot of space to elaborate on everything.
Well, I think you have covered it beautifully. I think in terms of how it should be protected and what burden of proof you have when you go to the court alleging trade secret infringement. I think Prigya has covered it beautifully. The trade secret versus patent becomes easier because we have talked in depth in the previous weeks about how patent is protected, what is the requirement, how long it generally takes, how do you get it, how long is it valid, how much does it cost. Of course, you have to go to your attorney, but I think we've got a good background on patent. So let's talk now about trade secret in light of that, right? So one of the things, as Prigya said, was you have to take steps to keep it secret. So when you do go to court and you say Prigya has stolen my invention, or Shalini has, or not invention, my secret, or Shalini has stolen my secret, then you have to say, then the burden is on you to say how it was, what steps had you taken, was it under lock and key, was it easily accessible by too many people walking in and out, so something lying on my desk, for example, is within reach of everybody, but if something is lying in my bank locker, and only one other person knows it, then I have taken reasonable steps. And the other thing is, if it is something that is commonly known, then to give it a trade secret status is not okay,
Yeah.
right? Because if I take like chicken shakuti, as I was telling you about, it's a well known recipe, and I think every household in Goa has their traditional way of making chicken shakuti, preparing chicken shakuti. So if I tomorrow stand up and say that I have now decided to trade secret my chicken shakuti recipe, and it's exactly the same as my neighbors, then it's it makes no sense. There has to be some kind of economic benefit that I derive from it. Merely classifying something as a trade secret, the way I brush my teeth or the way I comb my hair, if I say I'm going to make that a trade secret, there is no economic benefit that I'm deriving from it. But if I have a special chicken shakuti recipe which I decide to trade secret, like there's a very famous restaurant here in Goa known as Martin's Corner, and the Mrs. Martins, she actually measures out the individual spices in the morning, every morning, and she grinds it by hand. And so that particular masala that you get, that is used in the fish curry and chicken curry at Martin's Corner, is it's a trade secret. And it does make sense because they run a hugely successful establishment, and they keep the recipe a secret, and they make sure people know it's a trade secret thing. So
Correct.
Martin's Corner has the right idea.
So yeah, so whenever we are, like Shalini said, that we have taken some measures, it can qualify as trade secrets. Now there is an example when chicken sakuti masala is a trade secret while the recipe is not. And I think similar is the case with a lot of products, like Somadeep has message that is KFC recipe a trade secret. So yes, KFC's chicken is a trade secret. Why? Because that is mostly produced by machinery, like not by human hand but a machinery. And their recipe part is not known to people who are actually producing it. They might know that you have to add these elements to the machine and they'll prepare it, but actual recipe, if I want to try it out at home, I do not have a recipe of KFC. All I can do is
Right,
reverse engineer and find out that they might be doing this, might be doing this, might be doing that to prepare, and then I may come out with some chicken which is similar to KFC but not
right,
exactly KFC. So that's why it is a trade secret.
correct.
So
And I think KFC's the spice rub is protected. I don't know about the recipe.
hmm, hmm, hmm. So
So, like Coca-Cola, right? That is again one of the most famous examples, but they don't know. So, the two people who know it are never on the same flight together.
correct. Yeah, two people who know are not allowed to travel together so that they don't discuss about the formula. So only two people.
Yeah,
And
or I don't know about discussion. I thought it was more like if one of them die, if the plane something happens and one
yeah,
of them dies, they're
so it's
not
about
both stuck.
yeah, that was my wild guess. Like it must be true. Like if I and Shalini are together and we know about just one thing, we might be able to discuss it as
Yeah, but
well.
the last thing we're going to do is sit on the flight and be discussing the recipe.
Yeah.
So, the other amazing, so how long is it valid then?
Till perpetuity, till the time your safeguard measures are intact, till that time that is the information is a secret and valid. Like the moment you show that security measures are now broken, your trade secret may cease to be in
But
effect.
here is the problem I have with it. I feel people always say patent is monopolistic, patent is like this, patent is like that. I have those complaints with trade secret. I think trade secret doesn't, it puts a stop to innovation.
Correct.
That
It
this is it.
definitely.
It makes sense for something like customer list or the spice rub recipe. But if it's an innovation, an invention, then I think it just kind of puts a wall there and says nothing else.
But Shalini, on the other side and on the lighter note, what I feel is it generates curiosity also. Like people are curious and they might just develop something better because they don't know exact elements. And I think it's fair as well because see, patent, why we patent because we are exchanging our disclosure to get some rights. So
Right,
it is a kind of a trade off. Like I am giving the government all the information about the technology, that's why government is giving me rights. In
right.
trade secrets I'm not giving government anything. So if there is no exchange of information, then why not a monopoly in that area?
Yeah, monopoly is fine. I'm not saying no for the monopoly. What I feel is that we stand on the shoulders of giants, right?
Yeah,
Someone has innovated something. Someone who created the someone discovered how or invented the cathode ray tube, and from there we got like the old clunky monitors and TVs. And then based on that, then the next generation of thin screen, flat screen, plasma
correct,
TV, all these things came along. If the original person had said, no, I'm not going to patent it, but I'm going to manufacture television as a trade secret, and just give a black box inside which you cannot crack, then we would not have, technology would have progressed. Of course, I'm not saying no.
correct. In
I
that
won't
area,
discount people's ingenuity, but it wouldn't have been as rapid as it is when you file for a patent.
yeah. And that's definitely there because information is not there in public domain, so we can't know what people are doing with that element. So that is definitely there. It kind of brings a stoppage to rapid growth of innovation in a sense. That is absolutely correct. I agree with you.
So I think there are some things for which trade secret is perfect,
Yeah,
and for some things I feel it's more of a deterrent to innovation.
yeah, definitely.
So can we make a list of what of the two of the second latter? Yes, we know what it is, but where would it be useful?
Mm, I still feel whenever there is, if we are satisfying the patentability criteria, we should get a patent. That is what I feel. And I have this bias because you know patent rights are absolute in the sense for a period of 20 years you know that what rights you have, what rights other party has, how it is supposed to go for a period of 20 years. But with trade secret the problems is we don't know, we are in not known domain.
Yes.
Anytime our security measures are gone, either we are very strict with the security measures that we know that this information is going to remain secret for a longer period of time. If that is not the case, we don't know when we lose that information. And if we lose that information given after taking security measures and we enter into a case of litigation, we know how long is litigation. We know once that information is disclosed, 100 other people will come up and prepare the same thing, and we'll be able to stop nobody because it would be a violation at a very large stage.
Yes. So also, I think two people can have a trade secret, the same thing as a trade secret,
Correct.
without knowing that the other person has it. So
Correct.
that novelty is immediately destroyed.
So yeah, so I think if we are clear about our criteria, then patents. If we are in dicey domain, we are not sure whether we'll get a patent or not. If we have things like our section 3 and 4, the subject matter eligibility in mind, computer programs, softwares, and things like that, I think that is a feasible area to protect the trade
I'm laughing
secret.
because you said computer program.
Computer program, software, technology, AI, blockchain. Yeah, trade secrets would be a good idea in that domain.
But yeah, in India, yes. In other
Mm,
countries, I think they
yeah,
are talking about blockchain and. And
I think it's high time people start giving these software patents without restrictions, or we should come up with a different law regarding this technology, because this technology is rapid, it is fast growing, it needs a protection like patents. I don't know whether patents, but it definitely needs a
I think
protection.
that per se should, that section K should be taken out.
If I was in you know this domain of making laws, I would have suggested, like, we have elements of utility patents in other countries where a patent is granted for a shorter period of time, like
Yes,
14 years, 10 years or so. So I think that would be a better approach for this fast paced world, because our technology, it is not a technology which lives for 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. It is a very short lived technology, but it
right.
needs a protection for shorter period of time so that it can develop and get, show some benefits to people. So my take on this was, let's have some law for a shorter period of time for this technology.
Prigya is going to join the parliament soon.
That's what I feel. I don't know whether I'll be able to show this opinion to somebody, but I Shalini, don't you feel that there is some diciness in our law regarding, per se, computer programs?
Yes, of course, of course, of course. It was made at a time when we didn't expect computer programs to rule our lives to the extent that they do today. And I always feel, and that law is always 10 steps behind technology.
Yeah, we are
There's,
we are in catching up phase,
we
catching
are
up,
not, we
catching
are, we are
up.
not even catching up. We're like, technology is there. Okay, fine. I'm in no hurry to catch up.
Oh my God, I recently did some research work on NFCs and copyright issues and patent laws and trade secrets. It was an eye opener to see what are we doing with law in this area.
We are not doing anything. We have to catch up, because otherwise we are going to be not only 10 steps behind technology, we are going to be 10 steps behind the rest of the world, because Europe is doing this amazing thing with NFTs and blockchain, and they are uh, I think so. My son was telling me that in El Salvador you can go to McDonald's and you can buy a burger for Bitcoin.
Yeah, 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 that's happening.
And
That's so definitely happening. I have written so many patents on it, so that is so definitely happening. So we have a few comments in the chat box. Famous trade secret case in USA was DuPont using trade secret instead of patent for its TiO2 process. Shalini, are you aware of this?
no.
It was upheld when two formal salespeople disclosed it to competitors. Yeah, it's a see, whenever there is a factor of disclosing information, I think it will fall under trade secret only. I'm also not aware of this case law, but whenever there is loss of information which was protected or which was by agreement between two people, it would be a trade secret case.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you have to also prove that you had taken enough steps. So I think there are the three main criteria. If they're satisfied, if you can prove it to the court
Hmm.
that you took uh, extreme caution to keep it a secret, that it has monetary benefit. There's one more.
That information is of monetary
It's not, yeah, and it's not easily available. It's not commonly
easily.
known.
Yeah. So it's not commonly known. You have taken steps to keep that information as confidential, and that information is of commercial value. If it
Yes.
is of no commercial value, then again it's not a trade secret.
Yes.
Secret, sorry. So we have another question from Samidhi. Is there any law which govern trade secret, or it's just contract in India? I think we discussed it during starting. It's a
Yeah.
mixture of contract law, IT Act, and Indian Evidence Act, where we have few provisions related to electronic evidences,
Yes.
evidence. So yeah, so that's another. That's the answer from my side. Okay, so they are talking about some assignment. Computer programs per se, it's very confusing. Can you please put some light on it, Shalini? Let's take a different session on computer program per se and section
I
three.
think we'll have to. I think we'll have to. 3K needs its own session.
Yes.
3K and 3D.
Yeah. So next Tuesday we are discussing standard essential patents, and then we'll discuss 3K and 3D. One
Okay.
session for 3K and one session for
One
3D.
session for 3D. You cannot combine them.
Yeah, yeah. So Samiti will discuss it in detail the all the jurisprudence with behind section 3K and computer
3K.
program per se. For now, just know that computer program per se are not patentable. So yes, Shalini, it's 8 p.m. and it's time to wind up. Any last comment?
Already. Where's cake?
Oh, I think it's a trade secret. What I did yesterday.
Well, it was a great session as always.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Just remember three elements for trade secrets and four elements for patents. Yeah.
All
Take
right. See you
care,
next week.
everybody. See you next week. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.
Bye.